about the very first question I have for today, which is, if I own a business on H1B, can my business eventually sponsor my visa as well as my family, or for that matter, extend visa sponsorship to other individuals?
If you own a business on H1B, let's talk about that first, because we talked in previous weeks about when you own a business on H1B, and if you have an H1B with another company, are you able to work for that business? And I just want to reiterate that unless you have an H1B for your business, then you cannot work for them. So if you are a passive investor, as I mentioned last week, you can do that, and you can be a passive investor with a business on H1B, and that's fine. Now, if you want to start working for that business, you can do a couple of things. Yes, your business can sponsor you. Couple of considerations. One, you may not be able to work for that business full time yet. Maybe the business is still developing. Mm-hmm. So financially, they might not have the money to pay you for 40 hours, but you want to contribute to the business. And you want to avoid these issues that you run into with being employed, working for a business that you don't have an H1B for. So you might consider a concurrent H1B. Maybe you're going to keep your existing H1B with your current company, work 40 hours, but you want to contribute on 10 to 15 or 20 hours to another business, then you can get a concurrent H1B through your own company.
Nice. Okay.
So that I like that option, because I've had H1Bs who wanted to start a business and wanted that business to employ them. And because the business doesn't make enough money at first, it's very difficult. Mm-hmm. But also, as an individual owner, or if you're even as a partnership and you're going to take on a certain active role in the business, sometimes that business can't pay you as much as you would like to be paid, or you need to be paid to pay, to take care of your family. And I should mention, especially with H4 EAD, that is going to be eliminated at some point, right? Mm-hmm. So, you might lose your spousal income. For instance, an H4 EAD, it gets eliminated and your spouse can't work. Then you're an H1B that is the sole provider, and you're starting an entrepreneurial business on the side. So what I would say is, consider a concurrent H1B, work for your current employer, 40 hours, whatever you're working, and then get a concurrent H1B for part-time. Okay. And that's a great way to start, because most of the time businesses don't have enough to support an employee right away. And the other thing I would say is, don't make your H1B the first and only hire, right? So if you have a business that you've started and you're only employing yourself, I don't think that's reasonable. If you have one employee and you're the only employee, I think it would be just difficult to, can you get it approved? Probably. But is it the best structure? Probably not. Okay. So, but you could do a change of employer and then do a concurrent employment for yourself, and then you might have 2 or 3 employees. That would be fine. Or you could hire contractors and then have yourself as an employee. But everybody's situation is going to be different. Right. But just keep in mind that USCIS is very strict right now on everything. They're narrowly interpreting the regulations. And while there's no prohibition to you being an H1B employee for your own company, you want to give yourself the best chance possible. That's why I recommend the concurrent employment, or making sure that you're not the first employee. Maybe somebody else runs the company who's not on H1B, gets it to a point where you're earning some income, or you get some contracts at least. Gotcha. And then you could transfer, or do a concurrent H1B.
Fair enough. Thank you so much for answering that.
I should just mention there that the problem with the H1B is less, right? But when you come to the perm stage, that's where you might have a problem. So I just want to emphasize that you may get an H1B for yourself with your own company, but on the perm, you actually have to disclose on a permanent residency application whether you or a family member owns part of the company. And then the issue there, when you let's say you have an existing perm or I-140 with another company and you want your own company to petition for you, the issue becomes whether you're fairly evaluating the resumes, because remember that a permanent residency application requires you to test the labor market. So testing the labor market becomes much more suspicious if it's your company. So just that's my only caution is if you think this is going to be long term and want to transition into a green card with your own company, just take that into consideration. And there are many ways that you can still do it, the permanent residency application, but that's probably for another call. You just have to make sure that you still test the labor market and that you as a business owner is completely outside the recruitment process.
Gotcha. At the perm application process. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
And for the concurrent H1B, I don't think it has to fall in the actual queue, right? It can be filed.
Oh, correct. Yeah, there's no cap counting because you've been cap counted. Right. As long as you've been cap counted and you're not working for like a university where you weren't cap counted, then yes.
And at a certain point when you can the business can actually sponsor your, wages and all that based on the labor guidelines, right? Labor department guidelines. That's when you can actually switch over to the company itself. Am I right?
Correct.
Again,
correct.
Based on the judgment call, obviously I need professional help, expertise there. But again, you can always run this concurrent H1B, run your business for minimal hours, and then eventually switch over.
Correct.
Thank you for answering that.